Hello, I'm Mario Toneguzzi, managing editor of Canada's Entrepreneur. Joining me today and on Calgary's podcast here is Vera Ilnyckyj, who is a coach, I guess. We'll talk a little bit about that in Calgary with Create Your Best Chapter. Thanks for joining us today, Vera.
Well, thank you so much for having me, Mario. I'm super excited to chat with you today.
Well, let me just ask, I guess, tell me what you do.
Well, tell me what I do. Oh my gosh, that's such a big question, isn't it?
Yeah.
At the base of it, I work with women solopreneurs, so women business owners, and I help them increase their impact and increase their income with confidence. So that's kind of at the base of what I do. But essentially, I coach them. I also do some strategic work with them, and I really help them grow their business as a solopreneur.
Now, how would you describe what a solopreneur is?
Yeah. So basically, it's a person who has their own business and they are the face of their business. So they're their brand. They provide the service. So more often than not, I'm working with people who have a service-based business. So they're providing some sort of service to people. They may have one or two people working for them. More often than not, they're doing everything on their own, maybe with a contractor or consultant or some sort of outside help on a part-time basis. But for the most part, they're their business. They're doing things on their own.
Okay. Now, when you're looking at this kind of area of entrepreneurship, what would you say the trends are these days in that? Is it a growing area, first of all?
Well, I think so. I mean, what I'm seeing a lot of is way more women starting their businesses. So, kind of like me, I decided to leave my corporate work, a number of years ago for a wide variety of reasons. So, people leave their jobs and start a business for a wide variety of reasons. But I'm seeing a lot more women stepping into entrepreneurship and really wanting to do their own thing, feel like they're doing what they're doing is purposeful. They want to have some flexibility. They want to really step into feeling like they're doing something that's fulfilling their own heart and their own soul. So I'm seeing that as a bigger trend for sure. And then I think just people, like I said, wanting to create something of their own and feeling really proud of that, and doing their own, just having the flexibility to create their life in the way that works for them.
And are you finding that from an age standpoint that these are usually women who have done other careers or maybe not done careers, or maybe been stay-at-home parent that are moving into this?
Well, it's interesting because I do a lot of networking as you do as well. So I meet a lot of people, and I've met women and men who are starting their own businesses at all ages. I think it's just who I attract, probably by virtue of the age that I'm at and by, the experience that I've had. Most of the women that I'm working with are, I would say, more in midlife. They have had a corporate career of some sort, and they could be mothers, they could be leaders, they could be working in large organizations or small organizations, but something has shifted for them in their life where they feel this desire to really step out onto their own and do what drives them and create something of their own. Like I said, from a place of flexibility, from a place of purpose, from a place of giving back to the community, like for a wide variety of reasons. But it's just interesting who you attract into your life, right? Like it tends to be the people that you can really understand and resonate with.
What are the biggest challenges that they face when they decide that they want to step out and start their own business?
Yeah, well, so I actually base my business on three main pillars, and these are stemming from what I see being the biggest challenges for women especially, and for entrepreneurs. Number one is getting more visible, right? So it's finding, where are your clients? How do I get in front of them? Because as you know, there's so much noise out there right now. There's so much information. There's so many avenues that people can go to turn to for help and support. So it's really getting them clear on how they themselves can get more visible and do that from a place that feels really authentic to them and really aligns with their values and their vision. The second challenge that I see is this challenge of confidence, right? Like, how do I do this? I feel vulnerable. What are people going to think about me? I'm a little bit nervous, or I'm scared, or I have some limiting beliefs, or I have some sort of, stories that I'm telling myself that's holding me back for some reason. So we really do a lot of work around mindset and things like that. And then the third piece is staying on track, because there's a lot of distractions and the shiny object syndrome, right? Where like, what, I need to do this, and someone's telling me I need to do that. And oh, this new technology came out. And what about this platform? And what about that event? So there's a lot of distractions and a lot of pulls up to your attention, right? So we're juggling a lot of balls as entrepreneurs, especially as solopreneurs. So for
Yeah.
me, it's really important to keep my clients on track and focused on what's most important, like what is actually going to drive your business forward, as opposed to what's a distraction. So
Mm.
those are sort of the three main challenges.
Okay. What were you doing before this?
Well, I worked in the corporate world. My background's marketing.
Okay.
So, again, I'm bringing that to my business right now. I'm working with my clients on a lot of marketing things and a lot of messaging things and communication things. But I worked in a wide variety of different industries. I worked in the real estate sector, residential and commercial, in the shopping center industry. I worked for an architectural firm. I did a little stint at a not-for-profit and at the government. So, a lot of different types of industries and sectors in Calgary, and primarily always on the marketing communication side, and then got into leadership, which is where this love of coaching really came from, because I really, really enjoyed leading a team, inspiring them, mentoring them, guiding them, and then most importantly, seeing them flourish as an employee. And that's essentially what coaching is, right? We kind of like help people flourish and thrive.
So so maybe explain to me how that transition took place and why of going in from the corporate world to what you're doing now.
Mm-hmm. Well, I started coaching back in 2016. That's when I got my certification, and it's something I kind of did on the side, so to speak. And even though 10 years ago isn't that long ago, there was no Zoom at the time. So it was a lot of in person. And it was just really challenging to do with a full-time job. So, I was doing a little bit of consulting. I was doing some freelance work. I had my own business, a number of years ago, and I really enjoyed that. And then ended up going back into the corporate world again for a variety of different reasons why I did that. And then when COVID hit, I was like, okay, it's time to step into doing my own thing again, because the world's a really uncertain place right now. But in my own business, I can control what I'm doing. And also, people need support and help. And so it took me a little bit of time to actually transition and make the decision to leave my corporate job, because initially I thought I could do both things. Like, I can grow my business and also work a regular 9 to 5 job. And that was burning me out, and I needed to make a decision, like one or the other. I couldn't do both things, and I decided to step into my business full time.
Now, when you look at entrepreneurship in general, what do you think the keys to success are for people?
Mm. Well, I think number one, it's always being open to learning new things, because it's this constant learning. It's learning new skills. It's being really aware of yourself, of where are my gaps? What are my strengths? And what am I missing as a business person? We're not really trained, even though I have 2 business degrees, we're not really trained on how to run a business and what's required of that. So it really is being open to what skills do I need to learn. So those are the skills of sales, the skills of marketing, the skills of communication, right? The skills of being really clear on what it is that you offer. And the other piece of it is being kind of looking at it like as an evolution. Things are always evolving and changing, and it doesn't stay static. So as an entrepreneur, you're always listening to the environment. You're listening to your clients. You're listening to people. You're kind of keeping an eye on things, on what is happening and how can I help the people that need my help. So it's this constant like awareness of things. So I think those are the biggest things. That the biggest thing for me though, Mario, was really the inner work. Like, how am I standing in my own way as an entrepreneur? Where's my lack of confidence, or my doubt, or my vulnerability, or those types of things? Where is that hindering me? So it's a lot of inner work, which I wasn't really expecting.
I want to ask you, like, how important is that inner work to do that inner work in terms of your success of your actual business?
Yeah, it's so important. And it's very interesting, because no matter who I work with, that's always what we talk about. it always comes down to mindset and how are you feeling right now, and what's holding you back. And so for me, it's been very, very critical, and it's an ongoing thing. It never ends, I don't think. It's this constant recommitment to stepping into a new version of yourself almost daily, right? Like, who am I choosing to be today, right? How am I going to do that? Who do I want to show up in the world as today?
Yeah.
And so it's this constant commitment and dedication to that, because no one's handing you a paycheck at the end of the week, right? It's all on you. And so you really need to be aware of that. And it is shifting your identity into that.
Hmm.
And that requires this inner
Yeah.
guidance, this inner talk all the time. And how do we focus on the positive talk, not the negative talk that's trying to drag us down? So it's constant. And it's for me, that's, I think, is the number one thing that as an entrepreneur, we need to be looking at.
Now, when, 20, 30 years ago, the concept of a coach, outside of, say, sports,
Mm-hmm.
wasn't around, right? And, why have we seen this, I guess, proliferation of coaches out there? There's so many out there right now that are, helping business owners in their operations, and helping them in their personal journeys as well, and so to speak. But
Mm-hmm.
why have we seen so many?
Well, I think it's great that there's more coaches. We need more coaches in the world, because that is really how we're moving people forward. And I think people are noticing the effect and the powerful transformations that can happen in their own life by working with a coach. And so then the word's starting to get out and spread. It is like a sports analogy, right? If you look at anybody in sports that's not even a professional, like a semi-professional, or anyone who wants to get better at any sport, whether you're a weekend warrior or a professional Olympic athlete, you have a coach, because a coach can help you spot your blind spots. They can help you get motivated. They can help you stay accountable. They're helping you see what you can't see. And they're also transferring their belief to you when you maybe are lacking it a little bit.
Mhm.
And it is the number one way to move forward. It's because coaching is all about moving forward. Like, where are you? Where do you want to go? And how are you going to get there? And I think logically we know that. And all the information's out there on the internet, Mario. Like, we can look up, what do I need to do to build a business? And yet we stand in our own way, back to what I was talking about before, right? We procrastinate, or we're maybe not sure, or we're overwhelmed by all the information that's out there, or we have other things going on in our life. And sometimes when you're in that jar, so to speak, you can't see the instructions of how to get out.
Yeah.
And so a coach really helps you with that. And so I think we are seeing the power of that. I think it's great there's a lot more coaches. I think it's great that people are hiring coaches, whether it's for their business or their leadership if they're in corporate, or for their own personal life situation, because it impacts all areas of your life. So if you're improving in one area, 100%, the other parts of your life are going to improve as well. And people hire all types of coaches from all types of parts of life. And I think it's awesome. And I think that's why I think people really want to move forward in their life. And that's why we're seeing a lot more coaches out there.
So, in your work with these solopreneurs, what is the number one concern for them these days?
Getting in front of more, like getting clients.
Yeah.
Like, how do I build my business? And the way to build a business is we need to make sales. And to make sales, we need to talk to people, and we need to get in front of people. So it is about getting more visible and finding those right people. That's always the number one concern, is how do I make more money, right? How do I stay profitable? How do I grow? How do I build the business? Again, without getting burnt out or without doing the wrong thing, so to speak, quote unquote. But that's always the number one concern, right? Is how do I get in front of more people?
And what about what are their thoughts and feelings about doing business in Calgary these days?
That's an interesting question. I mean, you probably have a better sense of that than I do, but it's like anywhere right now. It is very volatile. It's a very unstable, kind of a crazy world, as I call it. It's just, there's so much going on. But it's so interesting because I go to these networking events with other entrepreneurs, and everyone has a real positive sense, like very forward moving, very optimistic, very much they're in creator mode. Like, we can do this. And if we can do it together with support from each other, then we know that we can make this world a better place. And so they're coming at it from like almost like a heart-centered perspective. Like, I'm here to have a purpose. And I know that together with other people, we can create something really great. So it's this really optimistic mindset, even though there's lots of things going on in the world, because there's opportunities. Like in the chaos, there's also opportunities.
Yeah.
Right.
Do you find that, Calgary is always kind of, I don't know, patted itself in the back and bragged about the fact that it's a very entrepreneurial city? Do you still think that the case?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And it's really fun seeing a lot of younger people too. So going to some of these networking events that a lot of younger people are going to. So university students, or they've just graduated from university or college, or they're just starting out in their, in their careers, but looking to start a business. I've met a lot of young people who have, like, let's call it a side hustle, that they want to grow into their own business. Oh yeah. I don't think that that's changed at all. I think in fact, it's probably gotten more just because of all the things that are going on. We've had so many layoffs happening. There's so much uncertainty in a lot of the sectors that people are like, well, do I go back to that where there's no certainty, or do I build my own thing, which could be uncertain, but also they're weighing out the pros and the cons, and they're thinking, I can probably make something work on my own. So no, I'm seeing a lot of sense of optimism.
Yeah. What would you give for advice to somebody, say a friend of yours came and said, "Hey, Vera, I'm looking at starting my own business." What advice would you give them?
Well, let's
Besides,
say,
come see me.
yeah, besides come see me. Well, I mean, definitely finding people that are in your corner to support you. So whether it is hiring someone that can help you, so that's, again, I'm going to shameless plug, like definitely you want someone to help you, and that could be a coach or a strategist or somebody like that. But outside of that, I think finding a community. I know for me, that was really, really important and a big game changer, because as business owners, even if we have a team, you're sitting in your office by yourself. This was my experience, right? I'm sitting in my office, I'm talking to my dog. She's not really helping me, figure out if this is a good marketing strategy, or, what kind of platform to use for people to pay me, like all of those kinds of things. And so finding other people that you align with, that are super supportive, that want to provide advice, that can understand the challenges of being an entrepreneur. So surrounding yourself by those people. So finding community. And I'm creating my own community. I have a mastermind for women entrepreneurs that I'm growing. But outside of that, there are a lot of different things coming up in Calgary right now, and other cities as well, that are either networking events, or they're masterminds, or they're group coaching things, or they're just people getting together to support each other and learn from each other and give advice. So find somebody or a group of people that are going to keep you uplifted and in momentum. Like, that would be my number one advice. And you don't even have to pay for that. There's lots of free resources out there for that.
Cool, cool. Well, thanks so much, Vera, for joining us today.
Well, thank you so much for having me, Mario. I really enjoyed this.
All right, wonderful. That was Vera Ilnyckyj, who is with Create Your Best Chapter in Calgary. I'm Mario Toneguzzi, managing editor of Canada's Entrepreneur. Thanks for joining us today.